Hey everyone, Couch Investor here with another video for you today. Today we're going to talk about the three cruise lines I already talked about a month ago. We're just going to go over their performance during that month and if they're still a good buy and a good stock to have in your portfolio. So if you haven't watched those videos, it was about Carnival stock, Norwegian cruise lines and Royal Caribbeans. The links will be up here or down in the description below. Now, before I get started, again, I want to thank everyone that has been subscribing lately. If we're reaching 500 subscribers, I promised I will show you my growth investment account. And if you like the videos, please leave it a thumbs up because it really helps me out. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so about a month ago, I made a video about all three stocks, and these were actually the prices back then. I'm going to see it right here. Carnival were at 13.44, Norwegian were at 15.71, and Royal Caribbean were at 29.30. Now their highs between then and now was for Carnival 16.69, 16.40 Norwegian, and Royal Caribbean were at $48. So if you bought low back then, you could have like swing traded and made lots of profits. It even went a bit lower if I'm not mistaken. So now they're like, at the time of making this video, $14.23 for Carnival, $12.69 for Norwegian, and Royal Caribbean sitting right now at $42.77. So with Royal Caribbean, you would still have made nice profits short term. But for me, it's all about the long term, because as of now, we're still uncertain what's going to happen with airlines, with cruise stocks, or with even casino stocks. We know that in the long term, everything should go back to normal, but as of now, we have still no clue what and when people will start taking flights again, tourism will go back to normal, or take cruises. So that's what I'm going to do in this video. I'm just going to look at some new news articles, maybe we have some more information. Before I get into some technical analysis, again, I want to remind everyone that technical analysis is just one of the ways to maybe try and predict the stock movement. It's not necessarily going to predict exactly what the stock is going to do, but at least we can see some key points in the stock price movements. If we can see that the stock rebounds every time at $13, then we can maybe make a presumption that the stock will bounce again at $13, for example. After that, we're going to look at some key articles, and I will end with obviously my own opinion on cruise stocks. So let's go into some technical analysis. All right, so let's first look at Royal Caribbean cruises. So as you can see, this is how the chart looks in a big scale. You can see the price has nothing to do down here. Obviously, it was something that we couldn't have expected. So you can expect the price in maybe 5 years or so to be for sure around the usual prices that we were before the crisis happened. So that's above $100. So let's dive into this mini crisis period right here. You can see the yellow line is my mini resistance and my blue line here is my mini support. It's a $10 gap between $44 and $34. For me, if it breaks out right here, if it breaks out of the downtrend line and if it breaks out of the mini resistance, I can see the stock going back to 48, maybe even the 50s, who knows. If not, it will fluctuate probably between those two prices right here, but in the long term, as you can see, the stock has no reason to be that low, especially if everything goes back to normal. Should go back to around these types of regions right here. That was a Royal Caribbean. Now, Norwegian cruise line is actually also in the big scale, the same thing. The stock price should be above $50, maybe late 40s, big $50 here. Now it's all the way down there. Again, very steep downtrend line. Here you can see the price didn't really move much price-wise, as you can see, as the other, but same thing. Mini support here, mini resistance at $14, mini support at around maybe $11 or so. You can see it bounces off, goes back up, broke it, then went back down again. Here again up, then now it's at a mini resistance. If it breaks out, we can see it go back to $17 or so, which is nice nice little percentage gain. Again, the meeting between downtrend and uptrend is very low, but that will only happen if more bad news comes out. Maybe there's no vaccine, the vaccine doesn't work, maybe cruise lines aren't allowed to operate as fast as they thought they would. So overall, that's that for me. If it breaks out, it will probably go back up. If not, maybe let's hope that resistance will become support later on. But overall, same thing. If you buy low here and it goes back up, let's say 3 to 5 years, if you can wait, why not? You can make 4 times your investment, and I think in 3 to 4 years time, making 4x your investment is very, very nice. Everybody will take that. Now lastly is Carnival. Also, I want to say Carnival does not pay dividends anymore. Logically, it needed the cash on its balance sheets. But again, you can see here, big picture, obviously it has been going down for a while. But again, the stock is at $14 and something. Usually the price is above $40 to $50. Very aggressive downtrend line as well. Normal uptrend line right here. Same thing. Mini support at around $12 or so, depending when you where you place your bars right here, but would be $12, let's say. Then mini resistance that should be also a mini support is $14 or so. Now it becomes a little support. It was a bit of a resistance before. Now let's make this a support line, and let's go back up into the $18, maybe $16, $17 short term, and let's fluctuate there, because the longer the base will be at a certain price, the more chance this will become a support and a new uptrend might occur. That's what happened with Tesla. For a long time, the base was, I don't know, between 180 to up 300. So it's always those same thing, but the longer that base forms, the bigger the uptrend, and that's what we saw beginning of this year, all the way up to $900. Same thing here. You invest now, you wait 3 to 4 years, maybe 5, depending on when they start selling again. 3 times your money, 4 times your money. I think for me, it's a logical but risky, very risky investment, because you never know what might happen. But in the long term, people will go back and be on cruises. Now, Royal Caribbean had its earnings, obviously wider than expected losses, but stock surges. That's something that the market recently has been doing. Bad news turns out to be good news for the stock. Some things you cannot explain, but they said that 2021 bookings remained within historical ranges. That means that it's like the bookings of 2019 or 2018. People expect to go on a cruise next year, which is very good and very nice to see. Royal Caribbean discusses return to cruising on earnings call. Obviously, it depends by region and by country. Which country will be allowed to go on cruises depends on the government that's in the country, and depends on, well, did they take care of this whole situation? Are people getting less sick? Is there a vaccine? Is there not a vaccine? Etc. Tests will be done, obviously, before anyone goes on any cruise. Then here, it was one of the several hints RCCL executives gave during the call about what its operatings might look like when cruise returns. Ships will probably not sail full at first, and ship rollout will be gradual. Makes sense. We don't expect that someday somebody blows a horn and all the ships starts operating right away. It will be a gradual start, a little bit like society is reopening up gradually right now. They will start with fewer ships at the beginning and then see how the situation evolves, obviously. That was Royal Caribbean. Now, Carnival says that it will sail again August 1st, a week after the virus no sail order is due to expire. So at the end of July, the CDC's ban for cruises ends at the end of July. So they will start 1 week after that. Here you can see here that ban expired. The CDC recommends that travelers defer all cruise travel worldwide. Obviously, that's as of now. Maybe that might change after July. But again, same thing will happen with Carnival. Step by step, gradually, they will start operating again. Obviously, with fewer ships. But Carnival went a bit more aggressive. They said that they are gonna operate with 8 ships at the beginning here. Carnival has the most aggressive cruise line in pursuing a return. It has plans to sail 8 ships out of 3 ports beginning in August. Obviously, things might change until now and August. Even in August, even if they start with 8, they might see, oh, maybe not start with 8, let's start with 5, let's start with 6, then gradually improve and see what happens. Obviously, ships will not sail at full scale, so yes, they might generate some revenue, but it will probably cost them more than what they earn, depending on which ship and how many people, what are the routes they're taking, etc. Again, I will just, the articles will be down in the description below, as always, or in the comments. Let's look at the ending right here. Is it now time to buy cruise stocks? Is again monthly fool, their own opinion. Obviously, it's a huge risk. All 3 major stocks have raised billions of dollars in order to get through the year, but bankruptcy remain possible if cruising can't return. I don't see that happening anytime soon. Again, it repeats that buying shares in any cruise line right now is very risky because, well, you don't always buy shares of a company and before you know if they're going to operate and how they're going to operate, etc. So now you're basically, obviously it's a risk, but you're taking, let's say, a gamble on them operating as usual in a couple of years and as soon as possible as well. Alright, I hope this video helped you maybe clear up some doubts you had about cruise stocks. But for me, I already bought back when I made those videos because I think in the long term, people will go back on cruises. I will go back on cruises personally. So for me, it makes sense to hold those stocks for longer. Obviously, if you can swing trade those prices, if you are good at trading, then great, do so. I know a lot of people could have made lots of profits during that short-term period, but for me, I'm not into trading. I'm more for a long-term investor. So I'm holding my cruise stocks. Obviously, if it goes back lower, I might even buy some more because I think they're extremely undervalued. And in my own opinion, I don't think cruises are going anywhere anytime soon. That will be it for this video. If you liked it, please leave it a thumbs up. It really helps me out. And if you haven't subscribed and you want to subscribe, why not hit that subscribe button? It's free. Anyways, guys, take care, stay safe. See you all in the next video. Bye bye.